Hey, so you're thinking about making a comic book, right? I understand there's a lot of things to consider, and it can get a little crazy and be a little overwhelming if you've never done this before. But you have a good idea and you really want to do something with it. So stick around, and I'm going to go over my 6 things that I like to consider before ever starting any kind of project. And I think this might help you out. All right. So I know that making a comic book can be very difficult. The first time creator, you have this idea, you think it would be great. It doesn't seem that hard, right? You know, you're just writing a story, you're drawing pictures, you're putting it all together. Well, if you've tried to do this already, you might be in a place where you're thinking, this is a little harder than what I realized. So I wanted to be able to help you out. Now, these are going to be quick bullet points, but I will be doing videos where we break down each one of these items in greater detail so that you can understand really kind of the nuts and bolts, the meat and potatoes, if you will, of each one of these items. This is just, again, a quick overview of what you need to consider. First, you need to consider what your product is. So, are you making, what kind of genre is this? Is this a zombie book? Is this horror? Is this comedy? Is this superheroes? Is it for teens? Is it for everyone? Is it adult content? You need to figure that out. You also need to figure out if you're going to be doing a series or a one-shot. Is this going to be, a graphic novel with, 40 to 100 pages? Is it going to be a short run of regular floppies or just standard issues? So you need to figure that out. And then you also need to figure out your budget and how much money can I honestly spend on this thing? And so that's a good place to start, that figuring out what your product is. Second, you need to figure out who your audience is. And I kind of mentioned that on the understanding your product and understanding the genre, but this kind of ties into that really closely. You need to understand what you're trying to produce for who. So let's say, for instance, if you are trying to make a kid's book, you're not necessarily going to put really big words in there and put bad content in those things. You're going to try to make it to where all ages can be able to read that thing and enjoy it. And, vice versa. If you're doing something more adult, you're going to want to probably choose more adult art or things like that. So you need to figure out who your audience is and cater to them. And again, we're going to break this down in a much more detailed video later on. Third, you need to put it all on paper. Write down your character descriptions, your elevator pitch. And I really like to start with an elevator pitch because that is a simple 2 or 3 sentence way to communicate your idea. You're going to need to do this when you're in the next step, choosing your team. But you need that elevator pitch, and then you work out the fine details. What do the cities look like? What's the lore behind the world? And all of those kind of really convoluted things that the reader isn't that interested in to start with, but they will be later, because you're going to need that when we get into the next step. And step 4 is choosing a creative team. That usually starts with an editor. We overlook editors a lot, but we want to start with somebody that you can bounce ideas off of. And I'm not talking about a copy editor that goes over the end of the book and makes sure that everything is spelled right and all the punctuation's in the right spot. I'm talking about a real editor, somebody that comes in and walks with you, you bounce ideas off of, and they help you not leave any ideas on the table. So anything that any missed opportunities, they're helping you find those so that your story can be the absolute best that it can be. You definitely want that. The next thing you're going to look for is an artist, because obviously you're going to want to match the art with the story that you're doing. Now, I assume you're probably going to be doing the writing yourself, or maybe you're not, so you may need to add a writer to that list. But the artist and writer, you need to make sure that the pairing works well, that the mood of the writing matches the art matches that mood as well. So an editor can even help you find those relationships and really narrow it down. If you get art in, and they can tell you if it's good or bad, they can help you, because when we see our characters and our creation come to life on paper for the first time, we get mom and dad goggles on there, so everything looks great to us. but we do have to be a little more critical when we're trying to make a professional looking comic book. So then the next thing, you're going to want a colorist. You need to find a colorist that is going to be easy to work with, but they're going to be able to take the work that the artist does and just ramp it up to that next level. I've seen a lot of great art look bad because of poor coloring. And I've seen a lot of mediocre art look great because of an amazing colorist. So you're going to want to think about the colorist on the team. And then next, a letterer. Maybe you're going to try to letter that yourself, and there's resources out there. When we talk about this choosing your team section in greater detail in the future, then we'll talk about lettering and some of the resources if you decide you're going to try to tackle lettering yourself. But lettering is an art form, and so you may want to choose a letterer to do that for you. Number 5, finding a printer or publisher. You need to figure out how you're going to publish this thing. You know, are you going to self-publish it? Are you going to go through another company, which they'll probably already have their printers and things like that. But that creates a whole other can of worms that we have to open up and then discover really what it is that we want as far as contracts go and all of those things. So again, we'll break that out in greater detail in the future, but you're going to want to start thinking about, you know, finding a printer to either do the self-printing and publishing yourself, or you're going to want to try to work with someone that you can kind of publish under their banner, like what I do with Arrow Comics. So, and then last, but certainly not least, but it is the last one on this list, is distribution. You need to figure out how you're going to get this product into the hands of your readers and your potential fans. So that can include crowdfunding, webtoons or something like that, or a web store. And so you need to figure out if you're going to be going into brick and mortar, how you're going to do that, and start to develop a plan. At least at the beginning. If you don't know all those details, that's fine. You don't have to. But you at least want to know, like, this is my target. This is what I want to do. I want to crowdfund the book. I want to have it in my local shop. I want to try to put it up on my web store. And so that will help your creative team understand your vision so that you can accomplish it with a greater level of excellence. And again, we're going to break all of these down in the future with individual videos that really explain each one in greater detail so that you can learn more. But this has been kind of my quick list, 6 topics, 6 points that you need to look at to get started in making an independent comic book. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. So please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It helps so much, and you don't want to miss the next installment with this, where we're going to break down the whole what is your product in greater detail. So again, thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you back here around the Comics Project. Have a great day. Please consider becoming a member to access member-exclusive content and help suggest future videos. And as always, please hit that like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to ring that bell to be notified when new videos are uploaded.